We'll go live back to Twitter, and I'm going to pass the microphone around. Kev, can you talk into this and just make sure if we can get some emojis from the crowd just to see that people can hear us loud and clear, all three of us.
Hello, everyone. Kévin here, or Ataraxia from DEFIT. Super excited for that space. I mean, that's quite something new. We had never done. We used to have those AMA with people in different locations, but sitting the three of us here together in Jerome's apartment, who is welcoming us today in Po, is really an awesome setup. And I'm really excited to discuss with you all and share more about the project, present and future.
And Jerome, welcome to your lounge room.
Thank you, friends. I'm very happy to invite you in my apartment, and very happy to make this live with you.
So it's been really an awesome trip for me personally. For everyone listening in, people should know who Barndog is. We're on my Twitter space. You all know me for being in Move and Earn in that ecosystem. But Jerome, I actually met last year. My first experience was meeting in Paris. We did some events. You can see the 10K Paris Cup. We ran the 10K. You can hear it in the back. We ran the 10K last year, but we also did some live meetups and stuff like that. But currently, we're situated in Po, sorry, so PAU, and that's down kind of southwestern France. And we've been to the beach city Hoslinger yesterday. I actually got to watch a game of basketball, French League 3 men's, and watch Jerome present within this. And later on, I'm going to release some photos for that and show a little bit of video. This is something he's done for many, many years. He used to present the league level 1 for over 10 years. And now he does men's 2s and men's 3s. And he also does women's level 1. It was pretty awesome, honestly, to be able to see that live with Jerome and have that experience to watch the basketball. The last quarter was pretty intense. There was a bloke that got 3 3-pointers in a row. There was some slam dunks where he was being checked. It was a really awesome event overall. So for Jerome, I feel like it's been an amazing experience to spend some time in his home with his friends, his family, meeting again Lena, his partner, and getting to travel around the French side in between waiting for the Paris marathon on the weekend. So Barndog is running the marathon on the weekend. I ran Rome a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and run a really, really horrible time for what I was hoping. And it's actually pretty awesome because it's made me look at a lot of things, my training, how I do that, how I present for it. And I really hope for a different case this weekend. But there's lots to talk about in the space. Jerome, you know, we met last year, and your experience has been through other games, through other projects, and now you're actively using DEFIT, and you're actively using, we'll use GenoPets as the other one. So people aren't just using one app anymore, are they?
Yes, I use different apps, but actually my really enjoy app is DEFIT because for me it's a new app and a very, very interesting app, and we ask of this tonight.
And like for your experience so far, because you were in DEFIT before I was, it's more of a running app. It's more of a athletic app. It's not about just walking every day, but you know, you run a lot more than you walk within the app.
Yes, I have made different marathons and semi-marathons. The first experience, the new experience for me is running without the fun, and for me is very, very important because I have just a watch, not a phone. And for this, thank you, DEFIT. Thank you, Kévin. But yes, DEFIT is completely different from the other Move to Earn. I'm not a gamer. I'm not a player on computer and on phone. Yes, Move to Earn is funny, but for me, DEFIT is a really app for sportive people, and I like it. Really, I like it. I can run, I can swim, I can bike, and this is very exciting.
Yeah, I mean, Jerome's mentioned quite a few things there. So DEFIT's a little bit different than, you don't need to have a mobile phone with you. It's based heavily on wearables, and you can see I've got my watch on YouTube, and last year I ran marathons, and the only reason I used the watch was to monitor heart rate. But this year I started using DEFIT, so I've needed my wearable, my Garmin, to track that. So it's made me kick myself in the bum and get more used to that. But no, I appreciate that, Jerome, and I'll just grab the mic. So what I want to mention for today is we've got a fair bit to go through. We're going to try and knock it out in an hour. We may go just a few minutes over, but if you want to ask any questions, you can ask them live. We were hoping to have the chat channel live, but it's not easy to manage. So if you want to ask a question, you can jump into Jerome's chat channel on YouTube. So you can watch us live sitting here, and you can ask in either French or in English, and we'll pick that up. We've got the big TV here. Now there's going to be prizes today. We've got 3 lots of 200 DEFIT tokens. Now, DEFIT is on Polygon. So you're going to say, but it's Solana gaming with Barndog. And it's making me ask a lot of serious questions for myself, as I am a Solana maxi. When I first started DEFIT, it was my first Polygon experience, learning Ethereum, learning layer 2, having to check through the apps. I had issues with downloading Trust Wallet. And I do want to do a special shout out to Phil, because he was very patient with Barndog. I got a bit angry and cranky because it just didn't fucking work. So I deleted Trust Wallet and downloaded the monkey one. What's the monkey one? MetaMask. And is it a Fox? Okay. So I'm a Solana maxi. So there's a lot of learning. So DEFIT is on Polygon. It's just been bridged over. We'll talk about that because it was originally on Ethereum and Polygon. But 3 lots of 200 token giveaways. To be able to win those, you need to like and retweet the pinned tweet on DEFIT. Plus, you also need to be following DEFIT as a project. So follow them on Twitter, like and retweet on their Have You Seen Barndog's post, and that's it. You don't have to follow me. You don't have to follow Jerome. We're just here for the journey. So there is that. Now, the other prizes we have is 20 whitelists for the upcoming BabyFit Mint. And they will be by jumping into Discord. If you are already not in Discord, we see some people on YouTube. Welcome along. You need to join the Discord, and you need to use the code word SAMY, SAMY. So you need to say, Sammy, I've been listening to the YouTube, and you can get yourself a whitelist, and that's on Ethereum. And we'll get into why is it on Ethereum, why is it on Polygon differences and all those kinds of things. But we'll do the first 20 people that sign up. So if you haven't got a whitelist and you're listening live, you can grab one now. You'll be very early. But later on from the download, if people are listening to this after the fact, then you may be able to get yourself a load on that. So one more thing to say, we'll just make sure this is still going. Yep, we're not muted. Shit, I would hate to have missed all that. But one more thing to say, this is not a paid space. This is not, we're not paid to do this space. I am not an ambassador for DEFIT. I am a Diamond member. I want to absolutely announce that. Diamond is the top rank, so it's 100,000 tokens. Jerome is also a member. He's a gold member. We bought our tokens ourselves. I wet my wick, so to speak, slowly. I started as a free member. I then went bronze. I then went silver. Very quickly went from gold to diamond. But this is not a paid space. So I don't want people to think that I'm shilling the token because I'm being paid or I'm getting free mints or Kévin needs to pay people to get traction, any of that kind of stuff. I personally want move and earn to succeed. It's changed my life from being a full-time gamer in 8 months to run a full marathon in under 3 hours. And this year I've had a shocking one in Rome, but you know, it's the move and earn space is only just starting. There's some super athletes out there, and we'll talk about the fact that this game is centered more towards athleticism than walking. But you know, it's giving people options. It doesn't mean you have to be an athlete. It just means that we're doing wearables. We're talking about the fact that you get a higher token count if your heart rate is higher, meaning if you're running or if you're swimming, you're going to have a chance to earn more tokens. So not a paid space. Jerome and myself, we're both in the top 200 snapshot. We'll talk about that. So that means we're going to get free BabyFit mints and have free access into the Web 3.0 game. But I'm personally minting more. You know, Jerome will see whether he's going to mint more. And we've talked a little bit of strategy because there's a lot to understand about what BabyFit mint brings to the Web 3.0 game. And people need to understand, does it mean if you're a free member, should I have an NFT? So we're going to ask Kévin that as a direct question once we get into that section. But that's a very long intro. People have been listening to me a lot, but I want to welcome Kévin on stage and also talk about, I don't know how to pronounce your last name properly, Kev, Suru. So I'll give him the mic and I want to introduce Kévin to stage. He's the CEO/founder for DEFIT. This is a project that's been building for 2 years, and we're going to ask those questions later on. But Kévin, welcome to stage. Appreciate you showing me love and welcoming in to show me your family, your sister, your nephew. I got to meet the grandmother, the father. We had dinner. It's been a really enjoyable time in France as I prepare for the marathon. But welcome to stage, and give us a little bit of a introduction to who you are about DEFIT, because a lot of people, this is my first official space for DEFIT, and a lot of people have seen me tweeting about it slowly, and it's a part of the games I use. But give our community a bit of a welcome, my community, and let them know who you are and why DEFIT.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the intro, and hello everyone. Thank you for joining us and listening to that space and give me a chance to tell you more about me and about DEFIT. As you were speaking, Barndog, like I had chills, like seriously. I mean, your journey, and we had the last 8-10 days together, and you shared more about your background and how you got into running through the move to earn space. And honestly, it's just nothing but inspiring. I've been a triathlete myself, so for those who don't know, I've always been doing a lot of sports. But back in 2013, I lost someone whom I was close, a parent actually, and to cope with it, I went deep into endurance sports. So from 2013 to 2019, I participated and finished 16 Ironman, 13 half, 3 full. I did the Ironman South Korea. I did Cairns as well, full Ironman, Dossalton half. I did Malaysia, Langkawi, full Ironman, and then pretty much half in every country in Asia, China. I did Taiwan, I did Philippines, I did Vietnam's. And, it just became a lifestyle. It became a real lifestyle for me. And back in 2019, I really wanted to make a change from my career, 11 years in the automotive industry, and just combining my two passions that are sports and Web3, basically. So that's where I started to brainstorm and think about how I am going to create a product that will be able to bring together the endurance athlete and that community that I've been with for a couple of years, really into endurance sport, but also bring people like my dad, who doesn't practice enough sport. And I wanted to push him to just go walking every day. And how we're going to gamify that experience, and by mixing up those communities, then create something just unique that is going to motivate everyone. And you basically just impersonate that in an incredible way. Like, I mean, during those years, my best half marathon time is 1 hour 29. And you started running, and 8 months, I think not even 8 months, your half marathon of 1 hour 23 as a PB.
Yeah.
I'm like, how is that even possible? I've known so many people training and running every day and training really hard to get sub 130, and they didn't manage it. I mean, it's an outstanding performance, right? So your journey is just the most inspiring that I have seen so far, starting from the move to earn and coming from the gaming world. And it's been incredibly inspiring as well to learn from your experience. Jérôme mentioned earlier about, what I love about DEFIT is I don't have to use my mobile, because runners usually tend to run light and carry as least things as possible. And then there's you coming and telling me I'm running a marathon with a belt, well, which looks more like a bag than a belt.
It's a bum bag. It's definitely a bag.
And you're like, I'm running my marathon and I'm switching real and burning my energy during a marathon. And I'm like, that's incredible. Like, I almost can't believe it. But it's amazing how Move to Earn managed to bring those communities of runners and triathletes together with people like you, or like Crete, who is also in the space today, coming from the gaming world, and actually going into developing healthier habits through the Move to Earn space. So what you said earlier about I'm here just because I want to move to earn space to succeed is something that I relate and connect with a lot. And this is all I've been trying to do as well with DEFIT over the last 2 years.
So, Kev, you said you've run Ironman, and did you say Busselton? I thought it was Bunbury. So was it Busselton or Bunbury?
I did Busselton half Ironman.
Yep.
Back, I think it was 2017, and then I did Cairns full Ironman in 2019.
So an irony there for people to understand. Busselton is southwestern Australia. It's about 600-700 kilometers from home where I was born. And Cairns is actually where I live now with my partner, Tash. Everybody should know Barndog and Tash. And to understand, they're very, very big Ironman stages. Cairns itself is massive for it. We have the yearly, and we've got the Ironman, the full Ironman coming up in, I think there's, it's June is the Ironman, and then July is our local marathon. But it's really cool to know that Kevin's runs in my side of the world. So we see Europe to Australia is quite hard to get to. And I've traveled a lot of it last year and traveled this year to Italy and now France. So it's awesome to see that. But Kev, as CEO, founder of the project, and it's a very busy project. The team's been you've been building for 2 years now. So what do you say to people that think that, like maybe you've been building for a long time, but you're not progressing quick enough, or there hasn't been that explosion? We've seen explosion of Move to Earn in 2022, and DEFIT's now 400 or 500 paid users and about 2,500 daily active users. We know this, and we'll get exact numbers, whether he's got them in his brain live. We'll get exact numbers off you, but we can see these because the team's transparent. They tweet them out weekly on a Monday, I believe it is. We get a Monday tweet. So what do you think about people sort of saying you've been building 2 years? What's going on? Why is DEFIT sort of just slowly progressing? Why slowly instead of exploding?
I mean, usually what starts fast also fade fast. And since I started, Move to Earn wasn't really a thing. I started to pitch VID back in late 2020. And at that time, it was all about DeFi, decentralized finance. And then, the metaverse narrative came in and kind of like kickstart the 2021 bull run. And it was really hard for me to pitch fitness within my network and my communities that I had on Telegram, because this is where the project started. Just for you to know, when I quit my job to start the project, I moved to Phuket. And I bootstrapped the company. So I hired a bunch of engineers in Cambodia and started to develop my product. And what happened is COVID. Yeah. And all the borders got locked down. And I was basically for a year building that out of my room in Phuket and just, connecting with people, through Zoom, through Telegram chats. And to them, fitness was niche. And it was all about how we're going to build decentralized like DEX and lending, borrowing, and all of those products. But fitness was something else. Move to Earn did not exist. So it's been a lonely journey. The first year, we launched DEFIT back in March, April 2021. And then it's been a very long journey for about a year. Why is that? I built my Instagram account. So you can find me on Instagram, not much active there anymore, but Kévin.DEFIT. I built it up to 11,000, 12,000 followers, documenting my whole triathlon journey, starting from an unhealthy business executive and getting to, podium finishing on Ironman races and qualifying for the World Championships in Nice in 2019. And then I tried to bring those people, those amazing people I connected with during my triathlon time, and how I'm going to bring them into Web3. And damn, it was hard. Go explain to those Web2 spoiled people about Web3 and wallets and tokenization. And I failed. I basically failed, or I did not find the way to bring those people over and bridge them over. And, early 2022, started basically the whole Move to Earn. And for the story, it's really funny because I was actually in a WeWork in Paris. And I remember very clearly someone coming over to me and saying, what's happening with DEFIT? So, the token was sitting quite at a bottom for 6 months, and all of a sudden the whole narrative came up, and everything started to explode. And basically I didn't know why. And I just looked and I was like, what's happening? I was, oh, CodeMarketCap has created the move to earn category. And that was the beginning of, the second breath. We say that in running as well, when you tend to lose your first breath and having a hard time in the race, and then all of a sudden you focus on the moment, you focus on the present, and you catch the second breath and allow you to go all the way. And that's basically what happened. So we've done some mistakes. We also failed at first to build that community, but all of a sudden we knew there was a huge validation for the move to a narrative, a huge validation for building games that are going to reward people for being healthy and active. And rewarding for playing games is great, but rewarding for leading an active lifestyle, to me, is even better. Because in a way, we are here to prove that physical activity has a tangible value in this world. And we know that physical activity, inactivity, costs $27 billion at the world economy every year. So if we manage to prevent, instead of adopting a creative system, paying that for health services and stuff, and instead if we manage to reward people for actually being active, I think it's just something incredible.
But even we've spoken a lot over the last week personally together, obviously, that you've got so many aspects for the game, and to be able to go live, move to earn, to fit into health companies, to fit into corporations, to fit into teams, and we're getting more and more unfit as a human species. I think COVID really made people go outside and run a bit more, because that was the only escape they could get outside of their house in a lot of countries. If they went outside walking the dog necessarily, or going for a run. Yeah, I mean, move and earn is only just starting. So it's good that you've weathered some storms. And I mean, we're now in a bear market, a pretty horrible, shitty market, but your numbers keep coming up every week. So what are our daily active users?
I mean, there's two things to that, right? So regarding to the pace, I think it's really important. You have no idea the amount of project that I have seen launching after DEFIT, all right? Even before 2022. In 2021, several projects launched. And I remember being pinged by people saying, be careful, there's a competitor coming and we're probably going to overtake you. And eventually they all disappeared, right? So then 2022 happened, and a lot of projects actually became hyper, very high. And we were still here building and just trying to make sure that we laid the solid foundations and learning and building together with the community. I never pretend, as you know, I don't like all the fancy titles. I'm always walking up in the Discord or tweeting, maybe a bit too much sometimes, but asking our community opinion and reading what they say, and sometimes just picking a random tweet and asking the guy to go on the Zoom call. I'm sure some people can confirm that, just to listen and to learn, and joining as many spaces as I can, and trying to fine-tune the DEFIT system. And to me, the foundation had to be related to the effort itself, related to the duration, but related as well to the intensity of the workout that people do, and having something everyone can understand, right? Like, oh, I'm working that long, I'm doing that sport, and I'm working that hard, and I have my heart rate. That's the rewards I have, right? That's my status. That's something that I manage, that I can control. And from there, how are we going to bring new mechanism to it? When we brought teams, I thought that was something amazing to do. Initially, Teams was not supposed to be Teams. Teams was supposed to be a referral system. That was the very first thing. And they were like, referral.
You needed 3 referrals to get, what is it? You needed 3 referrals. That's one of the requirements to be able to join a team.
Oh, there is a few. But even before that, we were supposed just to have a referral system, like you have in many of a project where you refer 1 people and then you have some bonus, right? And we're like, this is a bit boring. Like, we have to do something different. We have to bring a positive team dynamic that's going to support each other and kind of translate the accountability partner into the game. We always have those ups and downs in the training journey, and these days you really don't want to make it. But now you have a team, and now if you don't, they're not going to get the aura as a bonus. So in those days where your morale is really down, and these people that actually rely on you, that makes the whole difference, right? And to be honest, Teams has performed above expectations. We had no idea how the community is going to react. I mean, we obviously tested it for a couple of weeks with the alpha testers because that's what we do for every new feature, to collect some feedback. And it's been incredibly powerful. And all the growth we've had over the last 3-4 months is organic, and mainly thanks to teams. I brought my dad, I brought my sister. Like, people are bringing friends and family because they know they don't bring people into a project where they necessarily have to buy something, but we have a free-to-play mode, right? And I think this is also really important, to be able to really bring Web2 people without them fearing like, well, what kind of project is that? Like, you're bringing me into something where I have to spend money to begin with. So I think Chimps has been incredible. And we are now strong of 116 in the leaderboard, I think.
Yep. So let's, while we're talking about teams, because I've got this for later as well, but teams will get mentioned throughout a fair bit of the AMA today, because it's a part of your daily earnings, whether you're a free member, whether you're a paid club member, but it does affect the game heavily. And from someone, we have, I guess, 3 captains here. So as a team, you can be as a team, you can actually be a captain, and you can join a team at the same time. So you can't join the same team as your captain and vice versa. So you can't do it with a partner and just sort of milk off each other. The idea is to get out there and join different teams. So Kev, you're in Jerome's team, and
Chocolat team.
And I believe
we need the banner yet. You haven't custom the banner, right?
No, not yet.
so. This is where I was going to get into this. There's so many actual cool things where you can have banners and your creative sparks can fly. But Jerome, we're in the same team, are we not? We're in Phil's team. So the Fearless 50, I believe he's called that. So I had a bit of a laugh about the banner on that, and I won't share the joke live, but I've told Phil and I've told Kev, he's having a bit of a chuckle. Jerome, I haven't let in on the nose, but yeah, Dutch related. So it is talking from someone that is gamified heavily. So we mentioned before, I go running with my mobile phone, with my belt pack, and it is a big bum bag, and it slaps me in the old every now and again. So you have to watch YouTube to see what I mean there. But I'm used to doing that as one of my gamifications, because I want to do my dailies. I want to get a multitude of games now, and the team is one of them, because it's a way of drawing in a way of accountability. If I don't do a session, and while I'm running marathons in between here, I'm not doing sessions in between my run days. So what that means is I'm not actually giving my other team members, my teammates, I'm not giving them an aura. And auras are super important into the game, especially I think more so for the free players. And we'll talk a little bit about that once we get to it. But the team play has been very, very interesting. I haven't seen it from where it was built from the very beginning, because I know it came in and around January this year. So it's good to understand a history to that, is that, going from a referral, it's good to see that the team is building as they go. We did have 2 questions in YouTube. If we can just scroll up, and it's relevant now, I'll ask them to make sure we're not fading through the YouTube note just down a little bit. Yeah. There was one about the white paper is a little bit outdated, and it's going to come up in numbers about the baby fit. So just so I credit the right person. No, if we go back down again. So just up a touch. Oh, no. But he asked about the baby fit. There's a few things that are not mentioned, and the numbers are incorrect. So when can we expect a new white paper update? Even if maybe you give us a bit of a disclaimer that sometimes the white paper is out of date, Kev.
Absolutely. And first, I must apologize for it. Let me have a look. So, hi guys, when will next update of the white paper be released? Many things need to clarify. Then when meet? Will the marketplace be on the rebranded website? All right, good ones. Thanks, W. So a couple of things. So every Wednesday now, 10 a.m., we have our community call, basically. My idea is actually to bring in this call the leading captains. DEFIT initially stand for decentralized fitness. That's why I picked that name when it was all about DeFi, and it was like, we're going to build a decentralized fitness. Are we decentralized today? No, we're not. Clearly, there is, though, a will to go into that direction. And I think a lot of people talk about DAO, and I think we kind of act like one. A lot of our community members that have been with us now for a very long time, we build trust and relationship. And this is also what happened between us, right? You mentioned at the beginning, it's all about building genuine and lasting relationship. So we have a lot of community members that are helping us to manage the different social media, manage the Twitter as well, via Twitter deck, manage Instagram and YouTube. And first, thank you so much to all of you guys that are supporting us. I see Victor here. I see Phil as well. Thank you guys for all the support. About the white paper, why was I talking about that? Because Phil actually brought it up this morning. Phil and Nobi pushed. You are right. And Phil is actually combining all the inputs from all of you guys into the Discord and is going to share that to me today. And I will make a massive update of the white paper tomorrow. All right, so a lot of information haven't been updated for a while. It will be done. Apologies for the delay. Next question is when mint?
No,
it was in the same message, actually.
We'll get into the mint later,
all right,
regardless. But the next one from Victor was actually very relevant because we're talking about the basics right now. So DEFIT is more centered around wearables. We're talking Garmin, Sunto, Polar, Wahoo, Zwift, Apple Watch, Samsung Galaxy Watch.
that took some time.
So it is a wearable mainly function game, or not mainly. You can use Sunto and Google Fit on your mobile phone. So it's important for people to understand. I was a part of a donation in 2022, I believe it was either the beginning or it was in 2022. So they've got mobile phones and data in Nigeria, yet they might not have running water. So they're not going to have a wearable. So people in impoverished countries won't have $1,000 wearables they can track into the game. So first off, give us a little bit of rundown why we're targeting wearables in DEFIT. Why is that relevant? And it ties in a bit to what Jerome said earlier about being a runner. Traditional runners don't use mobile phones. They don't have all this heavy shit around them. But then tie that into that and then give us some options about Victor's relevant question was about swimming. How do you track the difference between swimming and running next to water?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious. Well, it depends if we call about swimming up in water or swimming in the pool. But swimming in the pool doesn't use GPS, so you use actually your hand stroke to measure based on the pool distance.
And that's
so it's very different.
Then, so your Garmin app will pick that up.
Yeah, it picked that up. So this is very different. But why the wearables? I think there's one main thing beside the fact that, I think the running and cycling and swimming community actually like not to use a mobile, the swimmers even more. But it's about the precision of the data and how do we avoid anti-cheat, right? How do we implement an anti-cheat system that is strong enough? And we've all of those videos of people farming tokens using those balancers, simulating movement with the podometer of the phone. With a wearable, you can't cheat. Victor asked the question, I can see it now, how DEFIT prevents cheating. And I think that's really related to the implementation of the wearable. And why is that? It's because of the precision and the amount of data the wearables collect that a phone simply cannot, right? And when we look at the club member mode, so when you look at the free-to-play, we're basically using the average speed, duration of the workout. In club member, we're analyzing the data of your workout second per second, and we regroup them minute per minute to actually calculate the number of eligible minutes, right? And the amount of data that we have is also a system, an anti-cheat system, the ACS as we call it, that basically cross-check hundreds of data points to make sure that this activity is legitimate and is not faked. For example, we're going to cross-check your heart rate based on the kind of sport to see if it's within the range. We're going to cross-check your SPM. So SPM is a step per minute for walking and running. We're also going to cross-check your cycling per minute as well when you do cycling. So there's going to be your strokes per minute. There's a lot of data that we're cross-checking to verify. And actually, it took us about 6 months to implement that. During last summer, our community alpha testers came up with so many ingenious ways to fake activities. And we basically found a solution for most. There are still a few ways. I'm not going to talk about it, but we also know how we're going to work on it in the next couple of months. So you can cheat on Strava. because there is no rewards basically, right? So Garmin Connect or all the wearable watch or Strava don't really matter for them, but for DEFIT, it does matter. So basically, if it's recorded on DEFIT, if it's on the leaderboard, it's like, oh, today, 98% a real activity that was done.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be something you constantly have to monitor, isn't it? You're going to have to constantly monitor cheating mechanics, and people might use 2 accounts. They might walk with 2 activities at the same time.
So yeah, and basically based on that, we actually launched a couple of months ago, but we haven't talked about it for a while now, but a bounty system. So we are constantly implementing new ways and
say
AI.
that for the English speakers, a
bounty? Yeah.
A bounty.
Is it not how we call it?
Bounty.
Bounty. Oh,
system.
okay. Apologies
We've
for the
got
pronunciation.
I've been making a lot of fun of Kévin over the recent week about the accent's amazing. I love it. So a bounty system.
Okay, a bounty system. So if
and that's not to dob people in. That will be more to say I've done this and I've managed to see that this is actually allowable. This can happen. And
so if it's like I found a way to chat with DEFIT, and this is how I came up with the chat. And we're going to pay you $30 in USDT right away. But if we found out by ourselves, since we constantly implement new ways, and now we are working on some AI system as well with our partner Terra to actually do some cross-check of your past workout and performances and see whether it matches or whether it's something that is out of your fitness level compared to what you previously recorded. If we found it, there is a risk that we're going to ban the account, right? After a few warning and double verification. But if somebody come up saying, I found a way to cheat on DEFIT, here's how I did it, then we're just going to pay you $30 to thank you for that.
Awesome. Because I mean, yeah, I'm going to be trying to see how the anti-cheat handles it and stuff like that. We have to be realistic with this. And there's a difference. And Kev's seen it with me is I'm not a traditional use one account kind of gamer. As you'll try and it's funny how the gaming brain opens. A lot of people know I played World of Warcraft and I had 9 screens open at once. So I'm not an average use one a day. But let's get into it a little bit more. We've got a good question here from Piotr L, and it was a good one. Just be careful we don't bump that. Watch your foot there. With chances of going multi-chain. So before we tie into the next one is great because it's about partnerships and the shredded apes, the Apex optimizer and stuff like that. But at the moment, DEFIT is on Polygon, the token's on Polygon, and you're going to be minting on Ethereum. You've also bridged the liquidity from Ethereum to Polygon, and you stopped the tokens on Ethereum factoring into the game, first and foremost, and also the top 200 rewards that was recently. But multi-chain, so at the moment you're on Polygon, you're minting on Ethereum, you're doing partnerships with a Solana brand. Talk to us about that. So why Polygon, why mint Ethereum, and then also is it looking at multi-chain eventually for potentially more users, more accessibility, many things to that?
I think what's important to say first is like when you use an app which is not from Web3, nobody asks like, hey, are you using AWS or are you building on something else, right? And I think we focus a bit too much at the moment on the blockchain behind, and as long as we are too technical and focus on that, I think that will be definitely a bottleneck for bringing Web2 adoption. What are you laughing at? Strawberry macaroon?
Strawberry macaroon.
Is it a strawberry one?
Yes, of course.
So I think that the chain in some way doesn't really matter, but we are not quite there yet.
So I guess is that people like me, I'm a Solana max and I very much want Solana.
Yeah, but we're here talking about a token and Polygon. So that's the proof that we are opening up. And you know, we could see as well with the gods and youths moving chains.
Yep.
So people like it or they don't like it. The fact is that we see more and more of those kind of moves, right?
So let's carve this one up quickly, this particular one, because we're already 40 minutes in. So Polygon is where the token is currently, and that's because it's layer 2 and cheaper. Am I right there?
Absolutely. So the token is supposed to be used and withdrawn and used for payments. So we're going to have the minting process in the app for VBB NFTs after the Genesis, and it's going to be used a lot. It has to be a utility token that you can also use on the shop to actually get your caps. So somebody earlier, and a lot of people have been asking about the DEFIT merch, you will be able to pay as well with the tokens. So it has to be as low fees as possible.
Hence Polygon. But is there no
Yes.
thought maybe to move that down the track? Or so did you say minting is going to be in Polygon? So does that mean that the baby fits are on Ethereum, but minting is going to be on Polygon?
Well, so it means that we have the Genesis collection, the 1500 Genesis baby feet that are surely on Ethereum, right? Because I think when it comes to NFTs, Ethereum remain the king chain. Now, when it comes to the remaining of the collection, it's going to be available in the game wallet, right? So actually the chain doesn't really matter, because once you're going to have the token as we are used on some other apps, you can just mint an NFT and it's not on chain in the app, in the game wallet, right? So here the chain is irrelevant. Then whether people want to withdraw them on one chain or another, that could also be an option depending on what they want. So at the moment, we believe the right choice is Ethereum for the NFT collections. We believe the perfect combination is Ethereum and Polygon, Ethereum for the NFT and Polygon for the token, because you use the same wallet. It's both ERC20 and it's just a layer 2 to Ethereum.
All right. So I'll just highlight a point there. He said that Ethereum's the king of NFTs, and I disagree with that. 99% of my NFTs are on Solana. So I just want to put the hard stop on that. But let's talk partnerships. You're prepared to partner with non-Polygon, non-Ethereums. We had the Shredded Apes. You did a space with them. You've done a protein powder that's going to be coming up on their website, and they've got to work out how to bridge in the paying with DEFIT tokens. But does that mean that they're going to be able to pay with DEFIT tokens from the game app and or USDC on Solana Pay? So where are the options? This is where cross-chain utility is going to be there.
Absolutely. I love the Shredded Apes. I'm not sure if you're in the space today or if they'll be listening to the recording, but to me, it's all about funding those projects that have been grinding for a year or so and truly building, right? And I think the Shredded Apes do. And I love what they do. And I saw a lot of potential synergies between us, because we are more focused on the cardio and endurance sport aspect. They are focused on strength. And I thought that was amazing to bring both communities, and they're awesome guys, actually. So we've been talking together for some time. We launched that first product, but it's just the first step into our further collaboration. Doesn't matter what chain, they're on Solana, we're on Polygon, but they were going to integrate as well on the shop, the DEFIT token on Polygon. I know Phantom is currently in beta. In beta for the Polygon token integration. So DEFIT will be there available as a mean of payment for the full shop, not only for the DEFIT product. And that's just the first collaboration. Of course, we also want to list them as an NFT community with the NFT PFP verify inside the DEFIT mobile application.
And that's now live. You've got two on there. One is Apex Optimizer. So talk about Apex. What's their relevance to DEFIT?
I love the Apex team as well. I've known them for about a year, and actually it's a collection that has been launched by a company named Routine. And you can check out their website. They are specialized into doing personalized nutrition programs based on DNA tests and saliva tests and blood tests. And then they offer you all the best complements for your lifestyle. I've known them for some time, and I think their community was pretty awesome. A lot of people minting the first NFT ever, because they managed to bring all of those athletes and partners that they had from the Routine company into minting the first NFT ever. So that's a team that I really appreciate, and that we are close. And I thought it was awesome, since there's a lot of cyclists, a lot of Ironman in the communities. And to me, it was just total sense that we start with them, because they have a lot to offer and there's a lot of synergies between us. The second collection that we listed, so basically that's like how we're going to get started with those NFT PFP. And why did we do NFT PFP? So we talked about teams, but to me, when you look at the leaderboards in DEFIT that we launched a couple of days ago, that was on Monday that it went live, we call it community leaderboard, right? We didn't call it teams leaderboard. And why is that? Simply because we want to build communities within the DEFIT community. And I think empowering people and teams is the best way of moving forward. Not only captains that are creating their own team, but also bringing NFT communities into DEFIT. And if we want to be positioned as the #1 Web3 lifestyle brand, well, we have to work and invite everyone from the Web3 world to come to the DEFIT app, right? So we launched them, and we launched the Wolf Elite Club. I think many of you as well know them. They are an awesome community,
They did
French
a big,
community.
cross M2E movement. It was a challenge across
Inter Move to Earn Challenge, and I love that initiatives,
there was
right?
over
Of bringing
over 6 games, wasn't there, that represented
6 games, 13 teams.
Yep.
Which is really awesome, right? I love this kind of initiatives. I wanted to support those guys because they did that Inter Move to Earn Challenge, and Crete recently organized as well.
Yep.
A multi Move to Earn live AMA on YouTube.
We have one this weekend, don't we? So it's people aren't going to use just one game, are they not? So it's good to see these cross challenges, and like people are going to find what app / game / team that they want to follow and support, and whether they put more money in, or whether they invest, or whether they just use the free version. All right, so
just to conclude on that, this is the bear market vibe in a way.
Yep.
And I love it, right? So there's less fight for attention, and this is where you actually identify the true builders and the true believers into the mission they're on. There's less noise, and you can basically see how now we are coming together. Those projects, we mentioned Shredded Heads, we mentioned the live I've done with other project about 2 weeks ago, how we are here today, the Inter Move to Earn Challenge. And I think this is awesome to see how we're coming together to actually prepare for the future, and not only to fight for a small piece of the cake, which is the Web3 lifestyle fitness market share at the moment, but how we're going to grow together into conquering the world of sports.
The 20 to 50, 100 million runners and cyclists, and it is. We are the Web3 users are a small portion of what we should be targeting long term. Okay, so that means then with the PFP system, that is a way Solana projects that might be interested in linking up with DEFIT. Let's put out names there for ones that I'm in. So Degen Apes, if they've got a fitness running team, they could potentially try to list their PFP with you guys, and then represent that within the app. So, all right, very cool. So there is cross-chain options there. Tokenomics. Let's get on tokenomics.
Yep.
We don't have long to talk about tokenomics, but 50 million.
That's it.
50 million. Talk about that quickly as to why you chose to go with a single token, and give us a little bit of an idea of what's currently available, the current market cap. And I've got a lot of questions to talk about regarding the current announcements about the top 200 NFTs, free drops in that. But tokenomics, 50 million. What's in circulation? Why single token? Get into those basics.
What's the number one coin in market capitalization today?
Bitcoin.
How many tokens?
In circulation?
No, in total.
Oh, well, it's meant to be 21 million, but
21 million. So since when did we started to believe that it's okay to have an unlimited supply or billions or quadrillions of tokens?
I mean, if that's a question, I wonder whether games that are going a billion or 5, 6, whatever billion, that just gives them room to be able to adjust as they go.
Yeah.
So does that mean that they can say, oh, that's all right, we'll work it out later, and we'll work out the value of it later?
And I don't have that chance because I have 50 million. And that's probably why we're slow and steady, because I value every single of those tokens. And I want to make sure that we work things out to the best possible way before scaling. And I think that's really important.
And if I can just, why he says that, remember, to get the 3 times 200 tokens, you need to like and retweet the pinned tweet on DEFIT. So to get some of those valuable tokens, you'll need to do that, because after this space, we'll do a twitterpicker.com to give those tokens away. Just a reminder. So it's only people listening to this space are going to be viable for those. So, okay, keep going with that, Kev.
So currently in circulating supply, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's 27,538,000.
So half the tokens, right?
Which is 55%.
Yep.
Exactly. And then it's up to me and the team to find out how we're going to build a sustainable economy around that. And it's no easy challenge. I don't think anyone in the to-earn space, I mean, talking about play to earn, talking about move to earn, name me one that found how to build something sustainable yet.
We still haven't found that hot sauce.
We still haven't found out. And I'm not saying I have, right? I'm just saying I'm trying things differently. And I think this is what our community appreciate in the way we're doing it, that we are taking our time with our community, with everything that we have learned, participating in other projects, observing what went well, what did not, and how we're going to build something that drives value to the entire ecosystem. And it's not about just hit and run. It's about how we're going to build trust. And, you know, we had the innovation award from Sport and Limitech, which was amazing, because a lot of Web3 projects talk about disrupting the industry, but how many actually get acknowledged by their target industry, right? If you want to disrupt the ticketing system, if you want to disrupt the music industry, I mean, if you watch the Spotify founder series on Netflix, then you will see how difficult it was for him coming from the tech being accepted in the music industry. So name me one project in Web3 that got accepted. And to me, getting that acknowledgement and getting that, you know, validation from Sport and Limitech and the whole French sport was really important. And I couldn't have done that if I did not build an economy that I'm being extremely challenged about. Like, this question has been asked to me all the time. How do you make that whole economy circular and virtuous? 50 million token, and then building not only all the physical product with the shop, but a digital product with the baby feet and all the custom accessories where you're going to be able to customize it as you like, minting into the DeFi token, but also all the challenges. And bringing the community leaderboards is the first step into bringing the challenges, where you will be able to enroll your team with your teammates by paying an entry fee in DeFi token and try to grab the prize and the prize pool.
So you talk about circular tokens and tokenomics. The team obviously is going to have to incorporate a whole lot of functions into that. Yeah. So obviously we know there's going to be a function with Shredded Apes of about a protein powder, which was very, very cool partnership. And I don't want to de-stress on that enough, as this is getting it into the real world with using your token and getting a real world usage. You might not be able to ROI, can you? Like, it's not about ROIing. I think people are too worried about making a 30-day return, but protein powder is a great usage. But give us a couple extra ideas that the team is very soon implementing to burn those tokens.
Yeah, so the protein powder, it wasn't the protein powder, actually. It's an endurance powder. So it was fun to launch. It's an energy, it's more energy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's carbs filled with minerals, right? And it was really interesting to launch that, because it was about the same time we launched the energy system. And the idea is like, how are we gonna build that connection between the in-game energy and the real life energy? And everything we're trying to do now is trying to bring that connection from the digital to the real life, right? Like the relationship between the team captain and the teammates is a bit the same that we see today when you go training with the squad. And then that energy system as well is how we're going to build that real life connection. And all the new utilities to come for the token, well, it's definitely going to be the customization first of all the baby feet, as well as leveling up, as well as changing the accessories, as well as removing captains. I think this is a feature that has been asked a lot, and there's a lot to talk about that. But this is all going to be the first use cases that are going to be implemented for the token, and then the shop in the second step with all the merch that will be 100% purchasable in DeFi token.
Let me give you a direct question now, Kev, then. Yeah. So it's about the game scale. So at the moment, we've got 2,500 to 3,000 daily active users, including club members. So if we get 10,000 users tomorrow, all earning one free token. And I had a question in YouTube here. One of the gentlemen asked about the fact that you only get one token a day as a free member. If you're in a team, you can actually get an aura that can increase you to a bronze level member. You can get up to 13 or 14 tokens if you do a long session run that day. So there are ways for the free members to be able to grind their way up to bronze. Remember, it's free to play. So you're not going to instantly in 3 days get bronze membership. It shouldn't be that way. It's not sustainable. So there are alternative ways, and there's going to be competitions and challenges. I just want to spew into some things. But so obviously there's ways to grind up. But if we scale another 10,000 users, then this is where tokenomics, we sort of go, how do the tokenomics survive if people aren't spending their tokens?
Yeah, so that's something that I've been addressing from day one with the community. And to me, there is basically 2 levers on which we have to play as we scale. The number one is the amount of required token to be a club member, right? So today it's 3,000 to be bronze. Let's say the value of the token goes up. Well, I don't want to say any price, but you don't need 3,000 anymore. You're going to need like 1,000 token, for example, right? Then that's going to allow a redistribution for those that came in early to actually redistribute and resell some token to the people coming in later. And the people coming at late stage don't have to pay more than the people that came early, right? So I think this is how we're going to do the healthy distribution. The second thing is about the reward, right? We are never going to make the promise, and we never did, that somebody is going to earn $500 a day for running with DEFIT, right? That shouldn't happen. And I think that it's all about also adjusting the club member requirements in terms of number of tokens to hold, but also adjusting the base rewards. So now we have a 0.2 for running and swimming per active minute from the 20th to the 90th minute. We have 0.12 for cycling because people tend to go for longer distances and duration. And we have a 0.08 for walking. And those base rewards, the whole mechanics are built on top of those base rewards. And as we scale, as the token appreciate, then we will also reduce those base rewards to keep the whole mechanics healthy.
So to go on to this, Kev, you're saying potentially down the track, you lower the requirements for gold memberships. So currently it's at 30,000.
People have the choice. They can sell off and keep the same membership, or they can aim to keep to actually get a higher membership as you lower down, right? So there's an option.
So it's certainly, and this is what I want people, this isn't financial advice. I want to really put this out there. It's not financial advice. Don't go and just buy 30,000 tokens and think that it's going to go to the moon. It's not what this is about, the space and all of it. I think teams have got to try different things, and I do believe the tokenomics are super important. So it's interesting to see. This week, we had the top 200 members get a free NFT drop, which you promised a year ago. And I
kept my word from a year ago.
Yeah, so we saw the numbers grind up though. And we've got some unhappy people that obviously didn't get the free drop because the numbered tokens were around 10,200 at the starting of the tweets, and then it finished at 19,886. And I want to put the number out there. One of my team members, I've got 15 in my team at the moment, and he was the lucky number 200. But there's some unhappy people about that. So do you want to clarify that that's not the team pumping the numbers up? That's the fact that people were then trading and buying more to stay within that. Why did you choose to do that? And give us a little bit of lead into why the token price might matter now in the VC sort of stage.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about how we're going to build something that benefit both the community and the team, right? And nobody asked me to give 200 free NFT, right? I mean, nobody asked for it. I said it because I wanted to reward the community, right? Then it's all about defining how we're going to distribute those free meets. And first, we said it's going to be on-chain snapshot of both Ethereum and Polygon and combine the total holding per wallet. And people were like, this is unfair because we are, users of the app, and it's actually quite unfair to just take on-chain. So we changed the rule based on the community feedback. And you're like, okay, that's true. So basically, since all the utilities are on Polygon, it's going to be only the Polygon token. But we also want to consider people who grind in the app. So it's going to be a snapshot in the app of the Web3 plus the game wallet. And I think that was the fairest way we can actually put it. Then from here, it's about the top 200, right? Because of course, we can't consider just the top 200 that did the most kilometer or anything, but it's all about as well the investment in the project, since we grow together. So that was, I think, an extremely fair way to reward those invested. And the numbers was incredibly low, actually. I mean, 10,300 was like, what? It was like
$700.
$700. So like a free $350 free NFT for $700 investment. I mean, that was a really good deal. So the community actually decided to top up, and everything played in the last 24 hours. We did not intervene into that. Yep. And you will see from all the people that actually mint that it's actually users that have the top 200 free mint. So I think it was handled very well, to be honest.
Are you worried that people are going to dump tokens after the snapshot already happened? So the snapshot happened yesterday, or it was yesterday?
It was yesterday.
Are you worried people will dump tokens?
No. So we basically also, so the medium is going to be released with all the information. It's important to say that for those free NFTs, because there is the pre-sale coming for another 1,000, right? So there is the 200 free mint to reward those invested and who support the project the most. There is 1,000 pre-sale token. We are whitelisting people at the moment. I think we just passed the 300 whitelist. So with a few more collabs and 20 whitelist spots to get on this space, as you announced earlier. And you don't want the people who got the free mint to actually dump it. So I think this is already going to be prevented because it's in-app screenshot. So it's the people who actually use it. But we're also going to implement a lock on those NFT for 3 months, right? Because we don't want to just stop listing the tokens, the NFTs, and people who got it free, then just selling out immediately, right? So those free mint for people who want to use with it, who want to play the Web3 player mode. So there will be a lock for those not to be sold immediately and for a period of 3 months post the listing of the NFT collection.
Awesome. All right. So we've gone 1 hour now. Give us another 15, 20 minutes because we've got some important parts to talk about regarding the minting. So the minting is going to happen in April. So just as a reminder for people, if you like and retweet the pin tweet on DEFIT, that's your chance to get the 200 times 3 tokens, and you need a Polygon wallet for that. So from that is the main thing. As another reminder to get whitelists, if you join the Discord, having listened to this space after, we've got 20 whitelists to be able to give away for this mint that's coming up, the BabyFit mint. But we haven't got into the gameplay deeply. It is like I've got four pages plus here. People see me looking at my notebook, but the gameplay modes, Kev, I can sum them up quickly, but we can talk about them a little bit. So we've got 3 modes. There's a free-to-play mode, a club membership mode, and then the BabyFit is the Web 3.0. And that's the NFT that's going to be coming out. I want to heavily talk about that. So the free-to-play mode, you have to minimum 30 minutes to a session, and you get 1 token a day.
Absolutely. Walk, swim, bike, run.
And for people to do that, it's as simple as having a Fitbit that you link up, looking at the list. Maybe you use Suntu or Google Fit in your mobile phone. So if you don't have a smart device, that's fine. There are other options. But the free mode is there. There are ways the team is going to create challenges and competitions and to allow you to grind towards a bronze membership, which is then a club level. The club members, we've got 3,000 tokens as the minimum bronze. That's where the most numbers are. I know this from talking to Kévin. So we're talking around $200 for entry into bronze. And we've also talked about how the token prices could potentially be changed down the track, depending on prices of the token and requirement levels and all of that.
And it will never be increased. It can only be lowered.
So what happens then if you lower it and you want to re-increase it? Well,
it's not going to be re-increased, actually. It's going to be a progressive lowering of the requirements.
As the coin becomes scarce, or as the token becomes scarce?
As the token becomes scarce with the scaling. And we have now surpassed, I checked the number this morning, so we are at 2,230 active players last week. And we now have 534 club members in the app, where you said exactly there's about 25 diamonds, there's about 50-something platinum, and about the same number of gold and 270 plus bronze members.
So free-to-play and club members, they're your solo player modes. That's where you go outside and you either walk, run, swim, or bike, and you earn tokens based on a formula, and that's all out in the white papers, and you can see that. And being a part of a club, a team is a huge part, because that's a way that you can potentially give yourself a boost and earn tokens as either the next level of member, or you might get a 25% buff. I think it is 20 or 25. 25. If you're the same, so say for example, if you're a diamond member like myself, if I join any other team, of course they're either diamond or less, so you get a bonus. BabyFits. So BabyFits is the mint coming up in April. We had a run in Paris recently. In YouTube, you can see the BabyFit on Kévin. He's wearing the shirt for it. And we had a run in Paris. It was it ended up being over 7 kilometers. And Sami Halim was there, the artist. And I did I did a bit of a running AMA with him, and it was pretty unique because he was struggling to draw breath through it, but he was an absolute legend and worked hard to both answer my questions. And we've only got a little clip of that within the 2 and 3 minute versions that are floating around either my YouTube or on Twitter. But I hope more of that comes out. Maybe Victor can get some of that out in the DEFIT channel.
He asked me for the YouTube account earlier.
Yeah, good. So it was awesome to see Sammy running live, but he's created this baby fit series, drawn out. Is it 15 ethnicities? Is that what we're looking at? Over 15 ethnicities in it?
We have
eight
14
ethnicities?
actually. And the interesting part is that we created 4 more characters that wasn't initially planned. We thought it was important to bring diversity and, you know, to represent all the people in the world. So we actually added the vitiligo baby and the albinos baby as well in boy and girl as an extremely rare one in the collection.
Okay, so we've got a mint coming up in April.
Yes.
We haven't got an exact date, so saying when mint. I can't give you that date, and I'm not going to ask the question because I know we're not going to get an answer. But we've got 200 airdropped. Now, these are free mints. So these are free airdrops. We don't have to mint them. We don't have to pay fees or anything like that. So the people that were in the top 200 wallets, 19,886, get that. There's 1,000 going to mint on Ethereum, and there is another 300 being held by the team. Is that for partnerships or potentially links, prizes later on down the track?
Yeah, I mean, the potential of those is incredible, right? So we were checking together yesterday actually about what was that? A baby smile is the antidote to melt your stress away. And that was a beautiful one. And I think that's so true.
But not in the Tesla.
But not in a Tesla when the baby cry and is sick in the car. But that's another matter. The Voz baby have just an incredible power. And, you know, the idea started a year ago. It's been actually a year we've been working on it with Sammy. He's an incredible artist. And we are putting together a special launch party in Paris in a restaurant, in a private restaurant. I'll communicate more about that soon as well. And I see Francois, our CTO, as well in the chat. Thank you, Francois, for also chatting, and only 3 macarons remaining. I'm not the one who ate them all. I think we have a culprit here on my left. But yeah, those babies have an incredible power, and the potential for brand collaboration is just insane, right? So I have 5 brands that I'm going to talk with over the next couple of weeks. And we're looking to bring as well special limited edition of accessories, talking about sport helmets, talking about outfits, talking about lifestyle accessories. And like, I'm so excited to finally bring them to life, not only because they bring another level of gamification. And, you know, people like you, Barndog, or people like Crete as well. I remember talking to Crete about last summer with Jérôme. We met in Oslo as well. And I understand a lot of people came from the gaming world into sports, right? So DEFIT is the other approach. We came from the sport world into the gamification. And now we are building that third game mode that is going to be more appealing to those looking for that extra level of gamification. And I think this is where we're going to have a complete product with a free-to-play, which is really easy to promote. I mean, when I see a runner in the street, I'm like, what? You're running for nothing? Just download DEFIT. It's free, earn a token. And that speaks immediately to people, and they download it and they use it. They're like, okay, cool. Now I'm collecting my token. I've got 14. And now the club members, like, how are they going to level up? But the Web3 player mode is going to give a competitive edge to those really into the gaming, into learning the strategy and how they're going to maximize the gameplay in DEFIT.
So with the Web 3.0 component, the baby fit, I want to get this out for people understanding. If they're a free-to-play user, they're likely not to need a baby fit. It's going to make no difference to their gameplay.
Yeah, but they're so cute and beautiful, they might want one anyway. But you have to be a club member to actually play Web3 player mode.
Yes. All right. So with the babies as well. So we're looking at 1,500, but only 1,200 going to mint, but only out of those, the 1,000, of course. So what are they? How do they work? We need to understand the gameplay a little bit as well. So there's 4 types of babies. There's 4 attributes, but there's also 4 types of babies. The babies actually have a specialization. So just let's go talk about that quickly. I'm going to sneak off the little boy's room.
Yeah.
But 4 types. And can we use one specialty for another in the game? I know you know the answer. And then, of course, talk a little bit about the attributes. We've got the 4 attributes. We've got stamina, I've got it written down, but stamina, style, mindfulness, and efficiency. But out of those, like a lot of games, you've got extra stats in there for things that you're building out and you're working on. So 4 types. Let's talk about that first, and then go into the stats.
Yes. So when we look at the activities in the DEFIT app right now, I think we're close to 2.6 million kilometers that we completed together, which is amazing. 325. I mean, Francois is here in the chat. Please correct me, Francois, if I say something wrong. I don't have the number as of today, but I think it's between 320 to 330,000 activities uploaded. 70% of them are walking activities. We about 20%, I think, for running, 21%, about 8%. Second time to the bathroom for Barndog. You caught Barndog. We about 8% cycling and 1% swimming. So when we look at the 4 specialties of the baby fat, we're like, all right, so the walkers definitely are the most activities we have right now, and the most community member that we have are walking, 70% of the activities. So the split is going to be 45% of the baby fit are going to be walkers, 35% are going to be runners. We're going to have 10% cyclists, and we're going to have 5% swimmers.
Okay.
Right.
That was a question that we did have direct.
So that's going to be the split between the 4 different sports specialties, knowing the split that I mentioned earlier, about 70% of activities in DEFIT are walking, 20% running, and then 8% cycling.
And it's relevant as well because as a runner, I classify myself as a runner now, a non-traditional runner, but the majority of my claims are walking because I'm not running every day. I might run 3 to 4 times a day, but it's better to claim a long walk than it is a short run. So then how do people, if they want to specialize in both, how do they do that with the baby fits?
Yeah. So, well, before I jump into that, so maybe after the split and the sports specialty, there is the talent, right? So talent is something everybody is familiar. We're talking about a common to legendary. That's going to define the maximum attributes of each. And then we have the 4, as you mentioned, efficiency, that's going to boost your earnings. We're going to have the stamina, that's going to reduce your energy depletion. And I know energy has been a big talk over the last 6-8 weeks, and it's also going to refill faster. We're going to have the style. So the style basically is going to allow you certain accessories or not, right? So depending on the style level, there is some accessories that your NFT will not have access to. For example, if we launch a limited collection with a brand, a luxury brand, for example, or something else, a sport brand, then you might not, depending on your style attributes, be able to equip that NFT with that specific accessory. And the mindfulness is something else, but we can talk about later because you want to ask about if I need to walk and run, then how can I fusion both to be as competitive? So if you have a runner, you want to use it for walking. All right.
Well, absolutely. And this is the thing, is that we've done over an hour today, and you can hear it's not easy to unpack a individual game happening, and these guys have got so much building out. We'll need to do another space down the track about the gamification, about the NFTs in particular. I think you can do an hour on just the NFTs. So let's talk about exactly that. If you've got so you can use a runner and do a walking session. So it sounded like 35%, but I think it's a 50% efficiency.
Yes.
So you're earning
efficiency boost.
Yes.
So the attribute boost
the
is going to be only applied to 50% when it's in not his specialty, right?
Later on in the game
life as well. So I'm trying to bring those real life connection that a cyclist is not going to be as good as a swimmer.
Yep.
Right?
Unless they're a triathlete. So this is the interesting part. So going towards, you've got to have a function in the game that you can fuse. You've called it fusion as well. In the game, you can fuse a baby. Now, are we burning these babies into each other and deleting them, or what's happening with those? What is the fusion process? Roughly, give us a quick wrap up of it.
Supply is going to decrease. That's for sure. Because from the 10,000 in total, but also from the 1,500 Genesis, if you want to fuse them to actually get a duathlete or a triathlete or all-around athlete that is going to be as good in all sports, then those that you use for the fusion are going to be, here's the question, we wanted to burn them, but some of our community members say, hell no, they look too good. I don't want to burn them. So maybe we're just going to retire them, which is a bit weird as a word for a baby retired. So we need to find another term for that. But the idea is that you can keep it as a collection, right?
Yeah.
As a collector item, but you can't use him in the game anymore. So the number of playable baby fit will decrease over time.
And that means you're just affecting the metadata on the NFT. So it's going to have a box, bang, it's been used, it's been fused,
There's
and
only one fusion per baby.
people could potentially trade that NFT still. It's still got an option of being tradable.
Yeah, because of the art, right? So it's a real art piece, to be honest. And now I meet more and more people real life, and they're like, I just want one. They're so cute, right? So they might go for the lower price one if they don't want to play, but just because they want to own one that is cute.
I like that from Mac there. Burn NFTs, not the babies. So 5 rarities. We've got common, uncommon, rare, epic, legendary. They've got 4 types. They've got 4 stats.
And one thing important to mention as well is that in the pre-sale and the free mint, so the 1200 coming, right? We have actually 20% chances to meet a higher level. So I haven't revealed the number yet, and it's going to be revealed in the Medium article tomorrow, everything in detail. But this unique price for the pre-sale is actually lower by 15 to 20%, depending on the final price, from the common listing in the in-app marketplace. And I'm not talking about the common, rare, epic, and legendary that are going to be priced much higher, but participating in the pre-sale at a fixed unique price lower than the common in the marketplace will give you potentially access 10 chances out of 10 to mean a much higher rank.
So this is where it comes down to why mint Genesis, because you've got players have got to understand why are they minting. So there's a better chance, 20% chance to get a rarer baby. Okay, very cool.
It is pretty cool, and it's not the only thing. We'll definitely add a lot more perks and bonuses to the Genesis collection along the way, and that's how we build with our community from the start and keep rewarding them, all the early adopters and supporters of DEFIT.
Because like a lot of other projects, this is a way of VC, like not VC, but this is a way of fundraising to be able to scale DEFIT to get more staff, to get more building happening. Yeah.
Absolutely. And everybody know, because I've been talking about it openly, we are actually now, I mean, I moved to Paris, right? There's no secret. Everybody know that. I moved to Paris a couple of months ago for that specific reason, to scale DEFIT. And we recently joined the #1 sport tech incubator, Paris & Co, Le Tremplin, but we also joined Pirates Labs. And you may have seen a lot of tweets lately. I actually have another space tomorrow with Bilal Alami, the CEO and co-founder of Pirates Labs. So we're doing that on the Pirates Twitter. If you have not had enough of me today with Barndog and Jérôme, you can listen again tomorrow. But that will be in French probably, since we're doing it today in English. So we have now the whole ecosystem around us. And with the launch of the third game mode, we're going to be ready to scale. But we're also raising a seed round at the moment. And we have a lot of investors that are interested, because there is a real big dynamic around DEFIT at the moment, especially in France.
And Pirates Labs, I've been there. It was amazing. I actually got to see a live League of Legends team. Very cool for that. But with the babies, there's going to be around 6,500 common, 2,000 uncommon, 1,000 rare, 400 epic, 100 legendary. These are all pulled off the white papers. Yeah. So roughly what cost are we looking at for the mint?
So anywhere between 320 to 350. Yep. So depending on how the market move until we mint, we keep it flexible, but it won't exceed 350.
Now, these babies in game, we're going to be able to level them up, which is going to be another token sync. Have you worked out the full mechanics of that for now, or that's just too early to understand?
No, I have all the numbers. So the costs vary depending on the talent, obviously. So I can show you the chart later and you can give me your opinion.
So what that means as well, and just because I've done a lot of reading of the white paper in the last couple of days as well to get ready for this. But so you're going to be fusing 2 babies together. They can only be done once. So does that mean 2 commons make an uncommon, and then later on you need 2 uncommons to make a rare? Is that a way to scale your babies up? Is that where it works?
This is something I didn't plan, to be honest, until we spend a week together. And you brought something very valid, because in my idea was like, everybody is going to want to have a triathlete or to have an all-around athlete, because you're going to come to having the most valuable one in the game. But you told me, I'm a runner. I don't give a shit about fusing with a swimmer or a cyclist. I was like, oh, this is a really good point. So how could I incentivize you to actually go and fuse them, right? And I think bringing that percentage of chance of gaining one out of the fusion with a higher level is definitely what someone like you, who doesn't necessarily want to have a triathlete because you're not swimming or because you're not cycling, still want to fuse them. So there will be a percentage of chance as well to obtain a higher level one, thanks to you, actually.
I always bring out these silly gamer questions, but we did have someone ask Victor, so DEFIT or Matic, neither. It'll be Ethereum, because we're minting on Ethereum, so it'll be minting in that. Later on down the track, the fusing will be in Matic or DEFIT, I believe.
The question he was asking 320 to 350 of what?
Ethereum.
About, no, US dollar, but I think he's asking the price here, right? What's the currency? So it's
between
320 to 350
of Ethereum at the time.
Ethereum.
Yep. So I've asked that. Now I'm not going to ask about fusion costs. I've asked about the babies. Down the track, so we've got 1,500 Genesis babies. That means there's going to be 8,500 babies that you've said in the white paper will be done in game marketplace.
Yes.
2 questions to that. One of them is going to be, have you got it worked out to avoid the Apple and Google issues? How do we get around that?
Yeah, it's a very good question, right? So we know some games still have an app marketplace. We know some don't have anymore. I believe, and I talk to a lot of app developers, it's also based on, whether they caught you or not, and whether you're extremely popular and making a shitload of money or not, right? So for Android, it's not a problem at all. For Apple, there is a risk. So the way we're working that out is based on what we've learned from others, building this as a mobile responsive, as a PWA. So it's not truly in-app built marketplace, but it's a PWA web marketplace that opens up from the app and redirectly with a direct login from the app, right, based on user account. So this is the kind of solutions that we're working at the moment to make sure that the user experience is going to be as seamless as possible, yet complying or walking around the restrictions that are imposed for the developers.
Okay, and the other question regarding that, Genesis, if we want to fuse later on in the game, has thought been put into people fusing with a Genesis baby, a non-Genesis baby? Will that affect, does it come out as a Genesis second generation baby? How far down the game side of that have you gone?
I haven't thought about all of that yet, to be totally honest. So it's good that you're bringing that to me, actually. And the last 10 days has been so eye-opening. I need to talk to you more often. I need to talk to Crit more often as well, to see how we're going to build all of those things out. I haven't thought about that aspect specifically. All
right. And is it worth people understanding as well? Well, it's not, is it worth, but I wanted to talk about it with you live so people understand this as well. So the tokenomics, we know it's 3,000 for basic, for bronze, it's 10,000, it's 30,000 for the next. So 30,000 tokens at current price is $2,000 to $2,500. So does that mean people can utilize the mint as a $350 mint prices? Maybe they might want to play in between that silver and gold level. Do you think that's going to happen?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is something that I said before to someone who said the step between silver and gold is a bit steep, and I was like, yeah, that's true. But a silver plus Web3 player is probably the way to actually work that out and make up that gap you have until you become gold, right? To boost your earnings until you get gold. And I think that's the way. And to me, what's really amazing, what's really amazing, the way we've been building this is to always offer a free path, right? So there is going to be a free path from free to play to Web3 member. Of course, doing 3,000 activities is a lot of grind, but we're going to have the challenges. So one can actually just earn 5 tokens for last week, has 5 activities during the week, and within 2 weeks have 10. And we're going to open up challenges where it costs only 10 DEFIT. So you do 2 weeks workout, and then you pick the challenge where you have your best chances. You pay your DEFIT entry fee of 10 token. That goes back to a pool, and you have a chance to win the bronze membership, or you have to win an NFT or a lot of stuff, right? So for those who want to grind from the beginning to the end, there will be a path, which is going to be not the easy path, of course, but from free to play to be able potentially one day to be a Diamond 1-3 player.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. No, I want to reiterate to people as well from my own experiences. We're a little bit too, as crypto natives, we're a little bit too concerned on making ROI, when now, wanting to get rich quickly. Like it's a free to play game, and you're putting your health as the priority. It's through exercising. So you're getting outside, walking, jogging, swimming, doing whatever you like, whatever you choose. So if you get an option to do that for free, you don't have to go and buy into the game. Pay it for free. I think that it's a good option to be able to start off with and get some trust and build it up, join some teams, socialize, see how they work. So, I mean, this is what you said before, Kevin. You've got 300 NFTs. The team will utilize where they see best. So there could be potential then to do competitions and prizes and events to maybe win a free baby fit down the track. Is that what you're thinking?
Absolutely. And everything I do is on chain, and I've been very transparent with the community. And every time these questions, I don't shy away for coming in and replying to them. That treasury of this 300 will be used for challenges, rewards, and some giveaways as well with the community. It's all about rewarding and growing together. And I can't thank enough everybody. I mean, Jérôme here welcoming us today, you, Barndog, as well, for VCMA and the time that we spent together, but also the community of DEFIT. Someone joined us like about a week ago, and he said, "Oh my God, I'm just amazed about the DEFIT community." And I mean, that was his word, right? Saying ratio-wise, looking at, I think this is the most qualitative community I have seen so far in the move to earn, right? Overall, we small, but an incredible quality. And I think you reap what you sow, right? And I think, if I said it well, and that's about like what you put in is what you get back. And we are putting literally our heart and soul into this project. I am so thankful for everyone supporting us, and I am so excited because this year is going to be the best year we have ever had. The third game mode are almost there, and then we're gonna build a whole ecosystem around there with the DEX, with the NFT marketplace, with the shop as well, with real life product, as we started with the shredded haves, but having our own as well with all the DEFIT merch that people have been asking, and all the partnerships that we have. And that's going to be an incredible year 2023 for us.
What's that in French down the bottom there, Jerome?
Un superlatif de Samsung est prévu. I don't know.
Samsung Watch.
Oh, for the Samsung Watch, I think we have it right. I mean, François, the CTO, is in the live anyway. I'm sure he's going to reply that question better than I do.
So, I mean, there was a lot that we've glossed over today because obviously we've now done the 90 minutes and we're going to be wrapping it up in 3. Lots happening, lots of updates. Obviously, you've got marketplace coming in. There's going to be a way for you to make fees to go back into the ecosystem. So for anybody that's listened to the space today, definitely, if you've just tuned in at the end, you can always go back. It's going to be on my Twitter space. I'll put it on my Spotify as well. It's live on Jerome's YouTube. You can catch the entire thing from the beginning. None of it's meant to represent financial advice. This is super important. Move to Earn, I think, is a space that we are only touching boundaries on. So there's still opportunities to get into projects like this from the beginning. You're still early, but your health, that's the biggest thing that you're going to get out of it. I'm 43, turned 43 last week during the Paris 6-7 kilometer DEFIT run with Sammy, funnily enough. So Sammy and I have the same birthday. Now I did what's closing thoughts, what's coming up in the immediate week or two. You've got something about a mint party with Sammy. That's why I've kind of mentioned his name.
Yeah, we're putting together a mint party in a restaurant, a private party in Paris, just before the launch, putting all the baby fit and showing them to the world, and that's going to be very exciting. So this is the next event. But before that, because I talked already about all the product we're about to launch, but I want to mention as well about Barndog running Paris Marathon this weekend. That's going to be the first big event coming. And I want everybody to give a maximum support to Barndog. This is a big event on Saturday as well. We should remind people and probably wrap up with that at the end. We're going to try to meet with anyone in Paris. Come have a breakfast with us on Saturday first before Paris Marathon.
Paris Marathon is not cancelled. We are sure now.
I don't know yet. Kenam, I saw you in the chat. Have you got the news yet? I didn't check today.
So there's been some riots in Paris, just to give that reference. So there's been the basketball team that Jerome was at last night. They couldn't fly home because their flight was cancelled. So it's caused a lot of dramas. There was the King of England couldn't come to Bordeaux because flights and dramas and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, it's caused possibility of a cancellation of the marathon on the weekend. But just to touch on lightly, and I don't want to finish on a sour note, but 1,000 minting, if it doesn't mint out in 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, have you thought about the capabilities? If it's a low mint, what the team, how you're going to react to that? Because I'm not here to pump it up. I'm going to be minting multiples for people listening in now. And I'll put the number out and I'll show those numbers later, but I get the free mint. But I want to have you know what my gamification is. I'm a top tiered member. I think I was 24th to hit diamond. So I'll be minting multiples because I'll absolutely be testing out the fusion function. I want to have a baby that's capable to claim both running and walking, but then I'm thinking I want a higher statistics and hence the gameplay questions. But if we don't mint out the full 1,000, is there a consideration to deadline? Do you think you'll hold them? Will you vault them? I've run a couple of scenarios past it, but what do you think about that?
We close the pre-sale. I don't have an extreme need of selling out. I think it's an amazing opportunity for people to actually participate to this pre-sale because that's Genesis, because that's limited in number. At the end of the day, it's going to be a 24 hours window for the free mint for everybody that has been whitelisted for it. And there is going to be a 72 hours window for the pre-sale of 1,000. And if it's not sold, then we just close it. There is no need of pushing and keeping it open. It's a fantastic opportunity. We believe into driving value into the ecosystem. It's going to give an opportunity 2 out of 10 to get a higher ranked NFT, higher talent. So if it's not fully sold out, we close it. We're happy. We're going to have our beta testers for the third game mode, which is everyone that is going to own one of the DEFIT.
So that's cool. So you've got a 72-hour cap on it. I love that. I've seen people do slow mints. I've seen people do, if it doesn't mint the first 24 hours and get nervous and stress and all of that. Does that mean that the first series is that 10,000? And if you only mint out, say, a total of 1,100, does that mean that there's going to be 8,900 on the marketplace afterwards? Or
no, it's going to be, I don't think the numbers add up. 1,000, right? So the pre-sale is 1,000.
But 10,000 total is the first season of baby.
Yeah, those will come later stage. So basically, when we're gonna launch the third game mode, there will not be the other baby feet available to buy.
Yep.
Right. So we want to give, as we have always done from the start, we always want to give a head start to the community that has been with us. We've done that with alpha testers on every new testing. So basically, when I launch the third game mode, it will be only those that participated to that free mint and the pre-sale, right? So 1,200 is the amount of NFTs that will be available when we launch the game mode. When will the rest of the collection be available? Absolutely no rush for that. I just want to give the owners of the first baby feed Genesis the first couple of weeks or potentially even months of playing it just by themselves until we fine-tune the whole concept and until the rest of the baby army come out. And as we scale, that is going to make them even more precious. And that's what I want for our holders.
Yeah, very cool. And Nick, I'll be celebrating with a nice cold frothy, and we're talking the amber type. Unfortunately, Barndog is the Aussie, and BDS nailed it. I'll be drinking a nice big beer after the marathon. Look, this has been a great opportunity to be live in the flesh, and definitely Kévin has welcomed me to his circle of friends, family, and all of that in Paris. It's been a really unique look in on this. Jerome, I've got to meet for the second time. I know they did a live meet with Crit as well down in, was that in Port or was that in Bordeaux?
No, it was Osgard. It was in Oslo.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
this is my second city with my Lena. This is my girlfriend, so we quit come here.
How many are you going to mint? How many do you think you're going to mint, Ruff? This isn't putting you on the spot, but you get the free like I do. But are you going to mint 1 or 2 extra, or what do you think?
I don't know. I will see.
So we talked a little bit about this as well. So Jerome and I talked about it because he's a runner and he wants that runner. So I'm going to mint a couple of extras for my team to see potentially swap them out with theirs if they don't get the one that they want. So I think the team aspect players.
Hold on a second. You didn't ask me the question.
What's that?
How many are you?
No, you don't get to answer that question.
I'm definitely going to mint some because I'm part like everybody else.
It's a bias. It's a bias question, that one.
Well, I have a free mint because I'm a gold member. And I think that's something as well that I highlighted. I mean, I've always been playing as a gold, though I have enough tokens to be a diamond. But I thought it was important for me to play as a gold from the start because I'm not here to mine my own tokens, right? I'm here to play in a way that people can relate, since the average player, the average club member today is around that level or a bit lower. Just for a reminder, I didn't check the numbers since we had the snapshot yesterday, but last week, the average token holding of our club members was 17,700 something. So I need to check the number now. It probably increased a bit. I'm about 30,000 as a gold, but I'm definitely going to mint mine as well. So I have a free mint like everybody else because I'm a gold member. And then I'm going to mint a couple as well because I definitely want to have my triathlete one.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth highlighting as well. So obviously, Kev, he has tokens from the beginning as well. So he's got 500,000 tokens, but plays as a gold member. So we've talked about this a little bit because I think he should be playing as a silver member. I think silver exposed him to where more common members are going to be minting around. But it's good that he's game testing the app, and people can see Kévin, like he was running with us. We've done the event in Rome. Jerome, myself, and Kévin were running in Pau. A few days ago, we did a 12-kilometer run. So we'll get footage of that up eventually as well. So he is absolutely using the game himself. The boys are in the team together. So the challenges are going to come. And this is where the gameplay hits competitiveness and I think helps people join up around the world. So, we're going to have Aussies and French working together, and eventually the team want to come out with Olympics and then either supporting a NFT community or a country of birth or necessarily where they are positioned. So lots to come about. A reminder, we will do the token draw directly after we've closed the stage. And for people wanting a free whitelist, so obviously we've talked about mint prices between $320 and $350 in Ethereum. You'll need to join Discord and use Sammy as the code and mention you've listened to the space. We're going to do 20 giveaways for that. Other than that, any closing thoughts from you, Jerome, today?
You want me to tell the last one? This is the question.
Any closing thoughts? Anything that you want to mention before we finish?
No, I'm very, very happy to receive you, Barndog. For me, to be here is not. It wasn't not possible. So we used to be together with Kévin because now we are friends. But I like DEFIT, and I am a really user of DEFIT. I'm not sponsorized, and for me, it's very important. We sat together. And so this event today in my apartment, I'm very happy to receive you with macaron, with French macaron. So it's a very good time for me to invite you in Pau with Kévin.
And I mean, he's touched on something else. Isn't it funny? We can talk about this for hours, but there was a French law that came out last week that people that are in the space, you can't shill, you can't advertise products without talking. If you're paid for something, you can't shill it. You have to disclose that. You have to let everybody know all that kind of stuff. We do. I've done that for a long time. Talked about whether it's sponsored or not. But as someone that's become a runner through gamification, I think this is absolutely amazing that more and more projects have a little bit of time to shine and get there out there. You can play it for free. It's not something you have to invest in, but there's plenty of opportunities. It's April that the mint is happening, so you don't need to rush. Go in, have a look, wet your feet, have a look at the white paper, study it up a bit more. Look at the team. There's plenty of stuff on the web page. There is a new web page coming out soon, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to have the new website going live next week. And to us, it was like really important at that stage to level up and enhance the whole branding around DeFi, and especially as we want to conquer the Web2 world. And I'm not afraid to say that we want to become the Strava of Web3, and I think the app at the moment reflect that direction we're taking. So very excited about the brand new website coming with the baby feed page showing Sami Alim and all the amazing work he's done, as well as the complete revamp of the main landing page next week.
Perfect. With that, I'll wrap it up. Appreciate Kev. Thank you very much for joining us. Obviously, Jerome hosted us. He set up the lounge room here. It's amazing. We've got the white lights. We've got the camera. We've got it all recorded. We'll be uploading this everywhere. But other than that, yeah.
I have taken a photo of the backstage. Maybe I will publish on medials, on social. Excuse me for my English.
I can guarantee his English is much better than my French. But yeah, other than that, guys, thank you, Mother, for the rabbits.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining today.
So we need to do, you can leave that